All right. Well, I'm at this like very unique point in my life where I have complete hopelessness and a complete hopefulness, but for two different areas of my life. Hopelessness regarding me getting employed again as a designer, as a product designer, as a design generalist, whatever. I just don't think I'm super employable. I I just don't think I'm a super employable person. My attitude is not great. That said, I could do the job if could find one relatively easily, which is very hard to do right now in today's market, right? Because of all the fucking layoffs and AI crashing in. Um, so like I'm super hopeful because of the ability to be able to leverage AI, like namely Claude Sonnet 3.5 with Aider, an agentic programming assistant that can basically execute what you ask it. Here I'm asking for an MVP for an application that takes audio or video and runs sentiment analysis on it. And then give that analysis to the user on a line by line basis. Well, this is the first prompt. I add extra prompts to get it to understand better. Like, I mean, this was like low effort as fuck. Let's see, where do I like kick it? Can you describe to me what is gathered from sentiment analysis and in general what sentiment analysis? I just want to get clear, like how deep does it go on the emotion and the various nuances? So it kind of explains to me that, the different levels of sentiment analysis. And I understand regarding specific emotions, like, and then I like, okay, so I understand, okay, text, but what about sentiment analysis for voice? Wait, I'm sorry. State of the art sentiment analysis for voice and text, because I want to know about the voice. I want to be able to see if we can take a voice and break down that voice into the emotions that back it, that drive it, that are contained within it, right? So it does tell me that there's Hubert, human like Bert, wave to Vec, speech, yeah, fine tune for sentiment. See, I don't know what fine tune. It can be fine tuned. Well, I don't. That sounds like a lot of work, extra work that I don't even know if I can. I mean, I know I could probably do it, but it's just how much friction is that? I just want something out of the box that works. So I have to do a little bit more deeper research on that. Hybrid approaches, speech to text conversion with text based. Yeah, so like hybrid versions, that's something that is interesting. I am not sure if DeepGram is for pay and like, yeah, I have to do more research on this. I was just doing quick overpasses just to get some information, just to get some more understanding. And I skip around pretty fast. How would you be able to detect each speaker in a conversation? Would you use a different model or just one of these models you suggested? So it goes through, explains what speaker diarization is and how you could do that. And then, wait, what's going on here? Okay. I'm not sure why this... So this is what I said. So we need to be able to make this application be able to detect each speaker and then run sentiment analysis on the audio and the text transcript. And then be able to cross-reference both the sentiment analysis of the audio and the text. And I don't know really, like, I feel like, okay, because you can say something that sounds happy, but you could say it in a very depressed way. So it's like really important to understand that reality, or to understand that it's important to understand that that's possible, and it's important to understand what the true meaning of a statement is, in terms of like, is this dry, is this dark humor, is this like sarcasm, like, because if you're saying like something like, I'm so happy, like that, you're obviously not happy, you're obviously bored out of your mind, and it's good to know that. Or, I'm so happy, or like, it's like, that's like whiny, I'm so happy. Like, there's so many ways of saying I'm so happy, and each one of them means a different thing. So very, very important to be able to have that dual understanding of the communication, or that more holistic understanding. And I mean, there is even more when it comes to body language and facial micro macro expressions. Enhanced MVP components. Oh yeah, okay, wait. So blah 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 blah. Okay, so more comprehensive, nuanced approach. This multimodal. They're talking about multimodal now. Let's outline how we can expand our MVP. So input handling is just like giving it a URL, or uploading audio or video, giving it a YouTube URL rather, or a podcast audio URL, whatever. Sucking in that. So separating it out, audio, text. So we're doing two types of sentiment analysis: cross-referencing and result aggregation. I've never heard of this before, so I don't know how that works. This is a whole thing that I have to look into. I guess that's the multimodality piece, and I don't know if there's been any work done in this, and there's any like open source models that can think of. So combine and compare results from audio. See, I don't know what all this means. Like, what does this even mean? Like, this might just be bullshit code, honestly, for all I know. It feels like it. I don't know. It doesn't even say like what model it would be using for this, or does it? I don't think so. But of course, I haven't really looked at all the code. Anyways, so process and return the aggregated results. I have an idea on how this could be done. I have to think in terms of UI, or like what you show the user, like how you can show sentiment next to text, or above or below text, to show the vibe that is contained within that text. Or to like listen to somebody talking, like in a podcast, and be seeing a play-by-play, like, oh, the emotionality of that person, like what is their sentiment in that moment, right? Like, you could be listening and seeing this analysis as you listen, right? Like things like sarcasm or whatever will be shown. I think for meetings, like, I think there's a lot of great potential use cases here for detecting bullshit, or just like detecting like speaker intention. Like, I've heard of many cases, and I've seen this in past companies I've worked with, like where there's obviously some like passive aggressive tactics being used, and it's highly toxic. And being able to like prove that with AI to clean up people's acts is like, I would say, like, let's get fucking transparent here. Like, I'm sick and tired of hierarchical power, thinking it can get away with hierarchical power. Higher ups, leadership thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want, to all the lowly employees. Or I mean, this is not just within the workplace. Let's face it. This is within personal relationships. You could imagine this could work on a phone call. Like you're in a phone call and you're like, you have this kind of assistant that's telling you what this person you're talking to, like how they are, what their sentiment is. Like, are they genuinely feeling the words that they're saying, or are they reading from a script, or are they, like how engaged are they? It's just like some people are just blind because of an emotional attachment they might have, and it just, okay, I'm not going to keep going. So let's stay on task on the more technical aspects. Okay, and for the web app, we are going to need a way to sign in with social, user account, user settings, email, password, subscriptions, collect payments, send marketing emails and notifications. So it goes through all this shit, and it's like, yes, let's do this. And I think, it recommends Passport.js. I already know I want to use Supabase. I should have said that before. I just wanted to see what it would come out with. Subscriptions and payments. Stripe. I assumed it would go with Stripe. Email marketing. So it's saying SendGrid or MailChimp. I'm not sure. Good. I'm going to look at what's up in terms of that. I never heard of NodeMailer, something to look into. Push notifications, web. Okay. So it gets into GDPR. It's good to know. Yeah, you don't want to fucking piss people off. And okay, great job. Let's think about how we can use pre-existing frameworks to facilitate this, like ShadCN UI for component library, Supabase for database. And Next.js. And this was the last thing I think I did. So it basically, it talks about Radix a little bit, based on Radix. Yeah, so, I mean, nothing new here really. Implement approach, setup. Implementation approach, set up Next.js project, integrate Supabase, use Supabase for user management, including social, create database tables and Supabase for users, projects, subscription plans. So it's pretty okay. I believe you. Perplexity or Claude 3, right? Claude 3 Sonnet 3.5. Hey, great. Sounds good. And zooming back out a little bit in regards to the sentiment analysis and speaker diarization, but how are we going to implement all that in a backend through something like Python, I guess? And so it tells me about, creating a Python-based microservice, and you could use Flask. We'll create a Flask-based microservice. I mean, it sounds good, I guess. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but I'm just going to believe you, Claude, because you're the shit. Docker container, I hear Docker is very difficult to, get into. It can get very complicated, but okay, I'm going to trust Claude. Integration with Next.js. Okay, in your Next.js application, you can call this microservice. Okay, and so I'm starting to get this really good understanding. And then, from React component, you can call this API. So I'm understanding how everything is kind of, I could draw a picture of what this looks like, right? I wonder if I can ask it to draw it out for me. This approach allows you to leverage Python's powerful libraries for audio processing and machine learning. Keep the computational separate from your main, obviously. Scale the Python microservice independently based on demand. Ooh, sounds so sexy. I guess Kubernetes would probably... Wait, how would you scale it? I'm just assuming Kubernetes. And what is the relationship between Kubernetes and Docker? Aren't they opposing forces, or no? Maybe I'm wrong. Maintain a clean separation of concerns. Yes, of course. How would you like to plan out a roadmap? This project out. So it's basically setting up the strategy. Okay. I like what I'm seeing here. So basically I'm planning on talking to Ader pretty soon about setting this up, but I wanted to get all my assets ready. And assets meaning all of my, I'm researching a little bit in terms of what you can, I don't think I really need to mess around with ShadCN UI and Radix. I just wanted to get the links, the GitHub links and the documentation, because it's best practice. They say, I've heard from 2 people yesterday already. I don't know. I guess I've been doing a lot of passionate research in this. They both said that it's a very good idea to put the documentation in the context window directly, because I think April was the cutoff date for Claude 3.5 or Sonnet 3.5. So it's good to get that shit in there so it's fresh and top of mind. Now I need to do Next.js, docs. I mean, I'll go to the website just to check it out because I like to see marketing sites and get inspired maybe. I don't know. Probably won't get inspired there. Is there a light mode? I don't even think Next.js has a light mode. Is there? Oh, yes. Yeah, this is straight up ShadCN. Everything is ShadCN here. From what I understand, Next.js, Vercel hired the dude. I don't even know his name. So Next.js React framework for the web. Did not, whatever. Get started, learn Next.js. What would they do here? Chapter, how do you start learning? Oh God, why did they even make this? Is this something you're gonna wanna do? This just seems so old school, honestly. Dude, there's no fucking way I would ever go through this shit. Are you kidding me? Dude, I'm telling you, that's kind of nice that they have this, this whole thing. Scroll to the top. I want to go back to see, can I see an outline of, what this looks like? Chapter 1. So it's this whole thing. Okay. This whole thing that I'm not going to even care about, right? Until, I have a problem. And then I'll just, vibe with Claude and get that shit sorted out, because fuck it, man, I don't got time for this. I need to start making that money. Okay, so now then we're going to Supabase. So we're getting all our resources. I don't even need this. I should get the GitHub. Where's the GitHub link here for it? Get start. Okay, yeah. I just want my GitHubs and my docs. That's all I give a shit about right now. I'll start out here with the main page. I'm getting some Next.js vibes here. So on hover animations, isn't that fun? I don't know. The design here is okay. Man, designers, I feel for you. I feel for myself, my past self. Next.js starter. So here's Next.js app router template configured. Well, I don't know what app router template. Look at all these cool starters. It's kind of cool, man. Wait, did I just get... there are questions about, I need a starter for Next.js, but I also need the Stripe components, and I don't know about LangChain, honestly. I've heard it's not good to use LangChain. I don't know, a lot of people are moving away from it, but it's just beyond me, honestly. I don't know. I mean, I'm just the director here, so this is either gonna work or it's not. I don't know. We'll see. So docs and There you go. What else do we need to start thinking about here? I think regarding everything else, I think the Python backend stuff can be dealt with later. Like the AI side of things, like the core functionality that's happening on this behind the scenes, the brains of it is really just going to be something I will hit later. But I will collect everything. Actually, I might as well just collect Flask, I guess. I don't know if it should be Flask or I don't know. It's kind of hard to know what to do at this point. There are questions about like, well, should I do a Python environment? Is that going to be enough? There's a lot of questions, man. Like I just don't even know where to begin. But I will wait. I can just start asking questions. If I have questions, then I just why did you suggest Flask for the Python microservice part? Because I don't know, man. Like, I remember Flask a long time ago. That's quite an old project. It's like a lighter weight version than Django, right? Shit, what the fuck, man? Oh my god, dude. Based on a search, I didn't actually suggest Flask specifically for. However, I can explain why Flask is often considered. I'm pretty sure you said Flask, dude. Develop the prior. Okay, well, you did talk about Flask up here. I'm pretty damn sure. We'll create a Flask-based microservice to handle. Well, you did say this. All right. Lightweight and flexible is a micro framework that provides only essentials. Okay, well, simplicity. Yeah, I mean, whatever, that I trust you, I guess. Oh, yeah, I've heard of Fast API before. I just don't know what that is. I guess it's just the Fast API, right? It's just the easy API creator. I don't even know what I'm talking about. API for your app. Wait a second. Let me clarify and provide more confidence between Flask and Fast API. Both Flask and Fast API are viable options for creating microservices to handle audio processing, speaker diaries. Given the specific requirements of the test, why? Performance is generally faster for IO. Oh, okay. I hope you're telling the truth, Jesus. Asynchronous support, asynchronous program, which is beneficial. Long-running tasks like audio processing. Automatic API documentation. Flask open API. Swagger documentation. Testing, okay. Okay, with modern. Then I guess it's Fast API, honestly. I mean, whatever. Fast API's logo is so... Okay, I was going to say it's like super base, but... So, docs... Okay. What is this? That's tough. Okay, so documentation. Here we go. All right. All right. Now I just need to get some information. I just need to hear this from a human. Fast API. Yeah, there you go. Fast API versus Flask. Oh Lord. Here we go. 3 web frameworks. Okay. Which one's faster? Fast. Okay. Well, you need. Okay. Let's go with
So
this.
today we're going to be talking about REST API frameworks written in Python. Now there's a lot of solutions that we're going to go through today. Each have different pros and cons, different use cases, and hopefully you can find a good one to make use of in your next project. Now, the first one that we're going to be talking about is probably the most popular framework for writing backends in Python, and that is the Django framework. Now, the big pro of Django is that it is an extremely opinionated framework, and that can be both a pro and a con. On the pro side, it is incredibly robust in its architecture. It comes with its own sets of things, it has its own ORM, and you don't really need to make any decisions on how to structure a Django project. It's all really there for you. However, that opinionated nature is something that could be a huge downside. For example, let's say you don't really know the scope of your project. Let's say that you want to be very flexible. That's not really something that Django is going to provide you. You have to use their things, you have to work within their rules, the opposite of Django in every way. Whereas Django is very robust, it's structured, it's kind of a monolith in the way that it's set up. Flask is very lightweight.
I like the Flask logo. It's really old school.
Very straightforward, and you can get started with Flask app in about 7 lines of code, if not a little bit less. This is their hello world. Basically, you send a request to the default endpoint, and then you get the response of hello world. And you can just run that using Python 3-m flask run, and there you go, there's your server. Now, this is really good for something that is newer. Let's say that you don't really know where your project is going. Let's say that you want something lightweight and flexible. That's really the direction that you want to go with this micro framework. It's something that has a much lower learning curve than Django. This is going to look super intimidating when you first open up a Django app. When you open up a Flask app, it is something that if you know Python, you can pretty much get what's going on. In contrast, if you go to the Django intro site, you'll find that creating a project is a little bit more complicated. You're using the star project thing. For a lot of these things down the road will be extremely advantageous. Now, the flexibility is really a great positive with Flask because Django is going to assume a lot about your architecture. For example, Django uses server-side rendered HTML templates, right? And that assumes a certain thing about your architecture. Let's say that you're using concurrency at its core is something that lets you do almost 2 things at once in single-thread languages like JavaScript and Python. I'll give you an example in JavaScript.
Hold on, sorry.
What exactly is concurrency and why is it so important? Concurrency at its core is something that lets you do almost 2 things at once in single-thread languages like JavaScript and Python. I'll give you an example in JavaScript because the syntax is a little bit cleaner, but the concept applies exactly the same. If you're coming from Python and you're not used to using concurrency, you expect that when you have something before something else, it runs in order. Ideally, you would do this get data function, it would execute the whole thing, and then it would run this hello world. But an asynchronous function works a little bit different. What it will do is it will begin executing this. While it's waiting for the response, it will execute this console.log, and then when this finishes up, it will console.log it. And that is what async await empowers you to do. And if you are node main.js, you will see that we got our hello world before our console.log user.data. Now, how is this relevant and how does this help you build out a backend? If you're writing a server, the majority of what you're doing is waiting. You're either waiting for a response from your database, or maybe calling another API, another microservice, etc., and a lot of goodies. You'll notice that Fast API auto documents itself.
Oh wait,
hold
on.
Route or our console.log user.data. Now, how is this relevant and how does this help you build out a backend? If you're writing a server, the majority of what you're doing is waiting. You're either waiting for a response from your database, or maybe calling another API, another microservice, etc. You're generally waiting, and do you really want to be blocking threads while you're waiting for other things to happen? Now, if you use a WSGI-based framework, let's say you're using Django and WSGI, or you're using Flask, then you're not really getting the major benefit out of that async await. It kind of predates that. However, if you're using Fast API, none of this is thread blocking at all, and you can use async await in the same way that you would use it in JavaScript without any configuration. Now, this is Fast API. It's kind of a larger example here, but in is thread blocking in WSGI.
Dude, I wish there was a better way to be able to toggle between the speed settings. How do I just like avoid this bullshit? Wait, what is custom? Holy shit. I didn't know that existed.
Flask, then you're not really getting the major benefit out of that async await. It kind of predates that. However, if you're using Fast API, none of this is thread blocking at all, and you can use async await in the same way that you would use it in JavaScript without any configuration. Now, this is Fast API. It's kind of a larger example here, but wait, fit out of that async await, it kind of predates that. And do you really want to be blocking threads while you're waiting for other things to happen?
No.
Now, if you use a WSGI-based framework, let's say you're using Django and WSGI, or you're using Flask, then you're not really getting the major benefit out of that async await. It kind of predates that. However, if you're using Fast API, none of this is thread blocking at all, and you can use async await in the same way that you would use it in JavaScript without any configuration. Now, this is Fast API. It's kind of a larger example here, but in flavor, it's pretty similar to Flask. In just a couple of lines of code, you're launching your app and you're good to go. However, unlike Flask, it comes with a lot of goodies. You'll notice that Fast API auto documents itself. You can see each of your routes, you can add information as to what a proper request is, and if your request is slightly incorrect, it'll give you that warning right away. Now also, if you go to -docs, you'll get something called a Swagger UI that allows you to send requests to your individual routes with explanations as to what they do, parameters, etc. It's a really powerful tool. The whole concept behind this is to conform to something called the Open API specification, which are a list of rules and standards for structuring APIs, and one of those includes auto documentation as well as some sort of interface that allows you to request your individual endpoints. Okay, so that concludes our rundown. Hopefully that gives...
Okay, fuck it. I'm all on board with Flask API, obviously. Because you know me. So now there's like the question, should I even keep watching anything more? Okay, I mean, I think that's going deep into the woods. I'm not interested. Okay, so back to Perplexity. See, we're jumping around from thing to thing and really just, gathering a lot. So I'm thinking about like, well, how would I, oh, you could generate an image? What? Are you fucking shitting me? What the fuck is this? Why am I generating an image? Like, wait, what am I doing here? I didn't even prompt it. Why would it be just generating an image? That's how I feel right now. I feel the energy inside me. Okay, so I'm thinking about like how to. Okay, so basically, yeah. I mean, like, what am I doing? What I'm doing is I'm about to write a spec. I'm about to write a spec. or just like kind of just marketing space. Yeah. So Shadsian. I guess I need a. All right, we're just gonna break this shit out here. Just gotta do this. Oh shit. Dude, what the fuck was that, man? Hello. Oh my god, what the fuck? I'm not sure if this is the way to do it, but repo, it'll know. Man, this is really like, the fuck is that shit popping up for, man? I'm gonna take off these headphones. This is getting like very worky now. I'm feeling the pain a little bit. I don't know if I need to do like, wait, why would I use Radix? I don't. Let's just not use Radix to like decrease complexity. Next.js. Do we even need, like, I feel like Node.js is built in, like, I mean, that's a basic question. It's like, is Node.js built into Next.js? I'm assuming it. The answer is yes, obviously. Yeah. So, like, I don't need that. I don't know why I had that here. So as you can tell, I'm super ignorant. And it just the reason I'm displaying it is because I'm kind of trying to point out to people that you don't need to know shit. Like, you kind of learn as you go. Like, I know enough to get started. I think there's a lot of people that would be able to do this too. But the thing is, you really need to know like the basics of technology, like, right? Like, you need to know how this stuff kind of, you need a basic understanding of like how all of this works. Like, I have an understanding because I created stuff in the past. Like, I've researched how this stuff works enough to understand, like basic app structures, right? Like I made a blog one time in Angular back in the day, so I understand routing and like I think it was called like MVC structure, model view controller or something. Yeah, I don't know. This is something else. This is another prompt, but that's so it's like now I have to think about, yeah, I mean, there are questions now about open questions are like, how do you, should I use a Python env to develop a Next.js app in? Like, I mean, there's like questions like that. Like, I understand environments are like containers, but like, do you do that? Why? See, like, I would think that you could maybe do that, but oh, okay. Separate backend. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think there are some questions about like so how would you structure an application that uses Next.js, Supabase, ShadCN, UI? For the basic web app stuff, and then for the AI stuff, you'd have fast API, sentiment analysis, audio voice to text, text to voice, speech to text, models, etc. Would these be two different projects? Would they live? Should they be developed in the same directory? I'm asking because I know I was thinking to create all of this in a single Python environment. env, but I heard it's not good to do JS based projects in it. Not sure. Jesus Christ. I mean, like, these are like the crazy ass questions. Like, this was very stressful. This one right here, like, just not having clarity on that, it makes me really nervous. Like, I'm not feeling good right now. Shit, look at this. Based on your requirements, best practice, I recommend a hybrid approach with two separate but closely integrated projects. Yeah, that sounds right. Somehow that sounds so right. God damn, what the fuck is happening here? Let's just expand. So, oh, I see. So front end would be, and back end would be, I see. This structure allows you to keep the JavaScript, TypeScript, Next.js, and Python environments separate, which is indeed good practice. Develop and deploy the front end and back end independently if needed. Use Docker to containerize both services and then run them together using Docker Compose. Oh shit, that's what Docker Compose is all about? Oh, weird. To integrate these projects, use environment variables in your Next.js app to point to your Fast API backend. Right, we were talking about that before, or it was telling me in development. This might be localhost. In production, it would be your deployed API URL. Create API routes in your Next.js app that acts as proxies to your Fast API backend. So, like, I don't know what that is. Holy fucking shit, dude. Develop the Next.js front end and back end in their respective directories. Use separate terminal windows to run each service during for the front end, CD front end, and npm run that for back end. So it's giving me more like details of like what you would do. Uvicorn? Oh wow, that's cool. What the fuck is Uvicorn? Holy shit. I don't know what this is. So there are questions about, can you explain more about APIs in relation to my project here? Does like, what is it? Such a basic question, so stupid. Like, I understand they're like gateways or like places to connect data to, they're like data connectors or like functionality connector. Like, I don't know. Based on the, oh my god, I'm so ignorant. It's okay. Based on the I understand you're looking for more details about APIs and really lets me explain it. Yeah, you could tell me. Interface application programming is an essential set of rules and protocols that allow different software applications to communicate with each other. Software application, different applications to communicate. In your project, APIs plays several front-end, back-end communication. I see. Your Next.js front-end will communicate with your Fast API back-end through APIs. The front end will send requests to specific API endpoints defined in your Fast API application to perform operations like sentiment. You know what? I really don't even want to think about the Python backend. To be perfectly honest, I don't want to know about that right now. So basically, I want to structure my application as just creating the front end UI. Like, that's all I want to do. I want to, like, because I know I heard like on one of the videos with Ader, this guy, I forget his name, was saying that you're going to get the best responses when you limit the scope of each prompt. So, like, you know, maybe the first thing to do would be create a Next.js app considering Supabase, and I guess we're going to need, I do want to hit on Stripe a bit, you know. Wait, did we have Fast API? Did I add that in here? No. So I'm going to So for the front end, and then the back end. And I haven't even gotten into the modules, the Python modules that would be needed. Oh my God. I just know Fast API for now. So docs and GitHub. Just want to get rid of, wait, did we do Supabase? Yes, we did. I just want to get rid of, where am I now? Fast API, where? Huh? Tiangolo? What the fuck is, who's Tiangolo? That's the person that made this. But it's just like, it should be called docs, right? Like, wait a second. It's literally, the documentation is the same as the homepage. Funny. It just shows you like how like no bullshit they are. Like they don't screw around. They don't waste time. They just get right to what you're there for. You're there for the docs. There's nothing else about it you need to know. It's just all about the docs. That's great. Okay, so we're getting rid of a lot of stuff we don't need anymore. I like to see this. I don't like tab hell. Like, I don't fucking know how people do that to themselves, or why. Why did people do that bullshit? Dummies. I've done it before, and it makes me nervous every time I see that shit. Like, these, like, or the groups. Each group is like, it's like a surprise attack about to happen. You just click on one of them, it's like, brrr, now you're fucked, bitch. Like, anyways, what are we gonna do next? I mean, oh yeah, Stripe API. Stripe API. I guess Stripe API reference. Okay, so here are the docs. Oh shit. Stripe API. I guess these are the, like, is there any other docs besides the API? Like, what happens when you just go to this URL? Okay. Well, I'd rather go here than, I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing now. I really don't. Okay, now I'm online payments, in person or online. Oh, okay. Payments for platforms? Oh shit. Now I got another question. All right. I want to integrate. Notice how I'm going to Perplexity. I'm not even trying to find out the information here. There's just too much information to. What is this? What is that? What is this? That's horrible. Oh, I couldn't even tell that was a fucking flag, dude. What is this? Oof. Yeah, like, it would be more helpful to have like a Perplexity like experience on the. All right, whatever. I don't even care. I want to integrate Stripe into. Okay, well, like, maybe I should just stay in here because it's got the context. I want to integrate Stripe into my. I just want to. Maybe I should just. Let's think about payments. I want to integrate Stripe into my app to receive payments. Can you tell me how I would go about that and what Stripe documentation and product I should integrate into my app, maybe not documentation, what Stripe product into my app. Then I can find the documentation for that. I could have said, and show me the link to the documentation for that product, but no, okay. See, but this is like literally what you have to do if you don't understand how to do this stuff. You have to like find out at least where all the information is, because then you can get Aider to go through it all and master it. Oh, you have to set up a Stripe account. Go to the Stripe website and sign up for an account. Oh, Jesus Christ, why? It's fucking getting ridiculous. Keeps doing that. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Go to Stripe website and sign up for an account. Obtain your API keys from the Stripe dashboard. Choose your integration method. Well, for quick, easy setup, you can use Stripe Checkout. Okay, so that sounds, which provides a pre-built hosted payment page. For more customization, you could use Stripe Elements. That would be cool, but you know what? I don't know. I think, well, we'll see. It depends on how much time we have, you know. Server side, like obviously Stripe, the basic page. Wait, a pre-built hosted page. I don't like that. I want it to be on brand, you know. And like I don't want it to leave the URL either. I'm not sure if this is gonna leave our URL. Fuck that. I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna use Stripe Elements to build my own payment form, I guess. I'm making assumptions right now, but we'll figure it out later. But Stripe Checkout. Yeah, well, Stripe Checkout doesn't sound like what I need. I need to use Stripe Elements, I guess. But anyways, create an account, use Stripe server-side libraries available for languages like Python, Node.js to handle payment processing. So I guess we'd be doing it from Node.js, right? Because it's like Next.js. Create a payment intent. Create a payment intent on your server to initiate the payment process. Use Stripe securely to handle webhooks. Set up web real-time event notification from successful payments, failed charges. Oh, okay. Test your integration. Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't really ask for all this stuff, but yeah, oh, cool. It's like keeping Next.js in context, right? Well, it should be. It better be. So I'm getting some good stuff here. And then on the client, use it. Yeah, good thing you're thinking like me. Stripe Elements library to create a payment form. That's dope, yo. That's fucking beautiful. Now, I don't know if any of this shit's going to work, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so, like, I mean, there are questions. Like, it's starting to talk about location. Yeah, I mean, like, I have an EU-based bank account. Does Stripe work? Does Stripe... This is a stupid question. I know the answer is probably yes. Polish banks. Based on Stripe does work in Polish banks and supports payments in Poland. Holy motherfucker, why are you fucking with me? SEPA supports Poland is for single euro payments, and Stripe supports SEPA bank transfers. This means you can use your US Stripe in Poland. Local payment methods. Stripe supports Blick. Oh, that's cool. This integration allows businesses using Stripe to offer Blick as a payment option. Well, I mean, nobody fucks with Blick outside of Poland. I doubt I'm going to have very many Polish customers anyways. pricing information. Stripe provides specific pricing. I don't know if I'll figure this shit out later. As in I'm not even a fucking business. If I don't, oh my God, dude. Gotta get that business registered. Maybe I should just get bank account in the US. That's another question I have. I am a US citizen based in Warsaw, Poland. Can I open a bank account in the US while I am in Poland? Like, is this a basic bitch or basic bastard type of question? I don't even know why I just said that. I really don't even know what a basic bastard bitch is. Online account opening. Many U.S. banks allow you to open accounts online. Okay. However, some banks may require your address or phone number. Documentation requirements. You typically need to, proof of address. Yep. Large national banks have more flexible options. Online banks like Ally Bank, Capital One. I don't even know what bank to use. Can you suggest some startup friendly bank accounts? Yeah, I think they're going to talk about Mercury and like some other, I don't know. Mercury, yeah, there you go. Offers no monthly fees, free ATM access, integrations with tools like, okay, venture backed. Multi-currency support is interesting. Versus inexpensive business checking account option. I've heard of Brex before. I don't know if Brexit, but it's not Brexit, it's Brex. I've heard of Brex. I don't fucking know what they do. Fuck. How do I know? Yeah, I guess I have to deep dive this shit too. Like, I mean, this is not a big deal, right? Okay. If I don't have a business registered, then can I still receive, based on the information, it's possible to receive, considering payment, like Stripe allow individuals to accept payments without, however, there may be restrictions on the volume of transactions. Even if you're, okay, so now there are questions about like, like, it's funny because I'm really switching from now technical to CFO position, right? It's like, I feel like I do want to compare and contrast these fucking options now. I definitely feel like going into like YouTube mode. And this is cool because like, I don't even Mercury. I've heard about Mercury before. I have no idea what the fuck it is. Like, you know what I mean? Banking. Like, what is it? Like, let's find out. Mercury review.
Hey guys, it's Charlie, and in today's video, we'll be doing a full review about Mercury Bank. Now, I've used Mercury for a couple of years now. I have 2 accounts with them. In this video, I'll just be talking about everything I know about Mercury, the pros and cons, the features, why I love using them, and who it's for. Later on in this video, I'll actually show you step-by-step how to set up a checking account using Mercury. And if you guys do want to help support the channel, we'll have a link down below. You'll get an exclusive offer just by using our link, and you'll also be helping to support the channel as well. So thank you so much in advance. So yeah, basically, this is the outline for the video. This is what we're going to be talking about. And I'm really excited because I absolutely love Mercury. Okay, so first let's talk about what Mercury is. Okay, so they were founded in 2019. They are a financial tech company rather than a conventional bank. And there's so many pros to this, which is what I'll cover later on in this video. Now, any deposits you make in the checkings and savings accounts are FDIC insured up to $5 million. Now, obviously, this is much better than the standard $250K insurance limit. And this is basically because they spread your deposits across multiple FDIC insured institutions. So if you do have over 250K, then this is a perfect bank for you. Mercury is definitely one of the most popular small business checking accounts that people use, and there is a good reason why. So now let's talk about the pros. So the first is that there are no monthly fees, and there are also no minimum opening deposits. You also get unlimited fee-free transactions, and there are also no overdraft fees. So if you hate fees just like I do, then this is perfect. You also get free domestic and international wire transfers. Since it is a financial tech company, you also get advanced digital tools, and they also integrate with QuickBooks, Xero, and other third-party tools. So now let's talk about the cons. The first is that since it is an online bank, you cannot deposit cash. So if you have a cash-heavy business, then this may not be the best bank for you. It's also not part of a fee-free ATM network, so it does cost a little bit of money. But if you're like me and you don't use ATMs, then this should not be a problem. Also, the Mercury savings account does not actually earn any interest, but they do have a separate treasury account offer, which is very, very high yield. They do have pretty great support, but that's mostly through email, and there is limited live phone support. Now, who is Mercury Bank actually for? So it's for any business owner who wants a reliable, tech-forward checking account for their bank. That's one reason why two of my companies use Mercury. I absolutely love their features. I've never had a problem with them. And I absolutely love that they are so tech-heavy. If you also have over $250,000 in deposits and you want higher coverage, then yeah, that $5 million coverage limit is a really great thing. But even if you have a much smaller amount, it's totally okay. Mercury is still a great choice. Another thing I really love is that you can actually create virtual debit cards with spending limits. So I have a bunch of these for one of my businesses. We give these cards out to our employees. We can set limits on them. We can set what can you actually spend this card on. And so that's been a really helpful tool. Like we said earlier, there are no monthly fees. There's no minimum opening deposit requirement. You don't get any interest on your checking or savings account balances. But as of right now, you do get up to 5.42% APY when you use Mercury Treasury. You can have unlimited transactions. In terms of the bonus, this is always changing. But as of right now, if you do use our exclusive link, you will get $250 of cash when you deposit $10,000 or more in the first 90 days. So now, who can actually open up a business account? So basically, any US company that has an EIN can apply online for a Mercury business checking account. Non-US residents, you can also open up accounts with Mercury if you do have US operations, but there
Wait, what? Ineligible. Non-US residents? What does that mean?
are some restrictions for some particular companies. Also, certain industries cannot use Mercury, so just be aware of
N26, TransferWise, Monies, et cetera, et cetera. There's like dozens of them, right? Mercury, et cetera. So they exist in a bunch of different countries. And so today we're going to talk about some incidents that specifically address the safety of the money and kind of what's going on there, as well as we are going to talk a little bit about what you should be concerned about or not, and how these operate and how they're different, et cetera, because I see a lot of kind of misnomers in this regard. So let's dive in. Before we do, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the all notification bell. If you like the videos, please give them a thumbs up. If you would like help with international banking, with relocating abroad, getting second residency citizenships, forming companies,
God.
Basically what we can do is we can help you.
I love Perplexity.
You figure out what is the best international strategy for you, and we can help you to implement that strategy. And simply paying the lowest amount of tax possible, forming companies, getting residency permits elsewhere, getting second passports, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and if you want to help with that, you can reach out to us. You can book a call with me, calendly.com/Michael-Rosman. There's a link in the description below, or you can send a message through offshorecitizen.net. Okay. So EMIs, as they're called, electronic money institutions, is kind of the technical legal term that we have in the EU. They've created kind of these EMI licenses, which are available. And the idea of that was to kind of introduce competition into the banking sector and have sort of a lower barrier to entry product or license, I guess, that's available. It isn't the same as a real money license, therefore this means they're not doing lending, they're not holding customers' funds, various things like this. There's a variety of different licenses that you can get. So it's not a full banking license. We have this in Hong Kong, we have it in the US, we have it in a bunch of different places. And so these institutions have become fairly popular, and they're fairly popular for a few reasons. First of all, typically the user experience, the software, is much better than traditional banks. I often tell people, when I log into, say, Bank of America, it looks like it was designed in the 90s, and it probably was. Whereas if you go into something like TransferWise or Revolut, it's a much more modern user experience, works way better, works easier, just frankly the way that things should be. And these calcified traditional institutions, for some reason, have no idea how to produce modern software. Not really sure why, but that is what it is. So that's the first advantage. The second is typically it's quite a bit easier to get accounts there. In this day and age, ridiculous though it may be, it has become challenging for people to open even personal accounts, often even in a country that they're living in, depending on the country. For example, in Malta, it's essentially impossible to open a bank account. It's ridiculous, even if you're a resident. And then for business bank accounts, it's even worse. So the ease of opening combined with this here has been great. Now, what I'll sometimes have people call me and say is, hey, they can close your account down for nothing. Well, every bank can close your account down for nothing. So there's absolutely zero difference in this regard. I will talk in a second about kind of some of the pieces you need to be aware of in terms of maybe the sensitivity on these institutions versus some other institutions, but this is not necessarily divided based on whether they have a real money license or not. So that's the first side of things. And then they'll say, they'll ask questions about your transfers. Everybody can ask questions about your transfers. Everybody will ask questions about your transfers. So neither of those things are differentiators. The third piece of objection that comes up is concern over losing the money. And this really, I think, comes down to people not really having an understanding of what's going on. So I'll hear people say, I'm not sure I trust that money with Revolut. Okay, why do you not trust that money with Revolut? And they don't really have an understanding of what's going on. Are they trusting some early stage startup that's holding their cash? Are they in a situation where somebody can just kind of take their money and run off? What's going on here? Well, in practice, what actually is going on is they don't hold your money. So that's the whole point of an electronic money institution license. Electronic money institutions purely are a layer of software on top of the legacy banking system. Maybe they have their own compliance teams and things supporting this. There may be some risk management. There may be a few different other pieces aside from that. But it's basically a software layer. So what actually happens is if somebody gets an electronic money institution license, let's say they go to Lithuania, which is the most popular place in the EU, and they do this, then what they do is they go and they get sponsoring banks for each currency. So it's really common to use the Bank of Lithuania for euros. Maybe you're going to use Barclays for GBP. Maybe you're going to use Chase for US dollars. Maybe you're going to use whatever. You're going to start running down the list. And for each currency, they're going to have some sort of sponsoring institution. And so they get a correspondent account with this bank. So it's actually, your money is actually held with that bank. And there's a really good example of this. There was a product called Bitwala, which was sort of a hybrid crypto wallet / bank account. They changed their name, I think, to Nuri or something like that. Anyway, they recently went bankrupt. And so this was a good example of seeing in practice what happens. And the whole point was they didn't hold your money. So all the customer funds were fine. The bank that actually was holding the funds, it's a well-known fintech that supplies banking services to a lot of these. They sent out an email to all the customers saying, just so you know, they're going bankrupt, all your funds are okay, they're with us, it's fine. And so it's worth understanding this segregation that happens, okay? Very, very important to see, especially, when you're spinning up, say, depending on where you are, there'll be different ways that this is managed globally, but, spin up an IBAN for you or whatever, right? There's segregation. And these institutions are typically quite well regulated and regularly policed in terms of what's going on with money, etc. I remember being a part a little bit with a company in Hungary, which actually had a real money license. And you're talking about the regulators were there all the time, like always looking at things, always making sure this stuff was going on. So in general, your financial risk associated with those accounts is not based on the EMI itself. Now, to be fair, a lot of these EMIs are pretty well backed. If you look at, for example, TransferWise or Revolut, you're talking about venture-backed companies with multi-billion-dollar valuations, big VCs behind them, etc. So, in general, this is a pretty credible, trustworthy institution. I'm going to contrast it in a second on the other side of real money licenses. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Now, in a very small institution, is there a possibility that there's some kind of mismanagement that goes on? Sure. Is there a possibility that you lose your correspondent account? Yeah, or that they lose their correspondent account? Yes, absolutely. Is there a possibility that they close your account for something? 100%. Now, let's talk about why this is. I've discussed this in some previous banking videos. What happens is, let's say that you're Bank of America or Chase, okay? So you have a direct relationship with the Federal Reserve, and as a result, you're not in a situation where you're going to lose this relationship. This will not happen, okay? So it's not like Bank of America is going to be cut off from the U.S. monetary system. It's not like Wells Fargo will be cut off from the U.S. monetary system. This will not happen because they are the direct connection. Now, let's say you're a bank in St. Vincent or a bank in Cyprus or something like that, and you're interfacing. You don't have your own relationship, so you have to get a correspondent account with one of these other banks. Now what happens is that two things go on. One, in addition to the compliance at the Bank of America level for their own stuff, say they're taking the correspondent account through Bank of America, they're going to be scrutinizing this other bank. So there's kind of this added layer of due diligence. And they're a little bit wary of this because they say, well, hang on, why aren't these people just coming to a normal bank? Why are they banking in St. Vincent? Probably because they want to evade taxes, they want to launder money, they want to, there's like all this suspicion that's built up around money coming from that kind of a jurisdiction with that kind of a relationship. You won't find this as much if you're talking about, say, a Canadian bank that has a correspondent relationship with one of the US banks, although actually some of the Canadian banks actually have their own correspondent relationship, which is a whole other conversation. So because of that, there's a much higher degree of scrutiny. In addition to this, because there's that higher degree of scrutiny, the bank that has to get the correspondent bank is going to also be very concerned about this, and they're going to add scrutiny because this is their lifeblood. This is their lifeline, right? Like, if they lose that correspondent account, their business is done. They can't transact anymore. We saw this mainly with FBME, for example, in Cyprus. They got flagged as a prime money laundering concern, and all of a sudden that took them out. Similarly with Banca Privada in Andorra, when they had issues, they're named as a prime money laundering concern and basically wiped out the bank, froze accounts for ages, and there's all kinds of kerfuffle there that resulted in the whole industry of banks in Andorra kind of shifting around. So this is something that's really, really, really important to them from a business standpoint. And because it's really important to them from a business standpoint, they're going to scrutinize this more than if their business was less dependent on it because they're not going to lose it. So hence, you'll generally have an easier time sending money through a bank that has a direct connection than a bank that does not have a direct connection. This isn't always true, but it's generally true. Now, let's talk about kind of these risks and look at kind of a real bank versus an EMI or neobank or whatever we want to call it. So this is more a function, the risks associated, et cetera, are more a function not of the license that you have. The license arguably probably makes you safer than a real bank in some other jurisdictions. Let's use, for example, something like Choice Bank in Belize, which had issues, or we could look at some of the banks in St. Vincent or other parts of the Caribbean. So these are small banks. They have basically the same characteristic as an EMI, but they're actually holding your money, right? So in this situation, they're much more, first of all, the experience is generally worse, right? But they're also much more exposed to kind of their own internal fraud because they may actually be holding the money, right? So if they're actually holding the money, then you're reliant on the local regulators, et cetera, in a way that's different if the money is sequestered with a sponsoring institution. So at the in a best case scenario, these small banks in kind of third tier jurisdictions are no more safe than electronic money institutions or neobanks in, say, EU or places like Hong Kong, et cetera. In a best case scenario, they're probably a little bit less safe because of kind of the nature of the local regulators there and the scrutiny that you're going to get as having money coming from that particular place. So both of these are subject to, accounts being closed. I mean, that's true anywhere. I've had accounts closed at top tier banks in top tier countries, as well as you can have the subject to the same sort of thing in terms of losing the correspondent relationships at both those. You won't have this at the top tier centralized banks. And so is it a more stable banking relationship and probably a little bit less hassle, not necessarily, but probably in major jurisdictions with the major centralized banks? Yeah, it is. Is it better when you're going to Bank One in Mauritius or Choice Bank in Belize? Choice Bank, famously I mentioned it because it kind of had issues. No, you're not getting anything. We've seen something similar if you look at some of the banks. There's two of them in Montenegro that had issues. Again, same sort of thing. Small banks. It was a real bank, but so what? It didn't protect you. It was no better than what you would have got from sort of one of these neobanks in this situation. So I think people should be more. Their caution should be more focused on small institutions versus large, and institutions that they're based in a country where there's some sort of connection to the local economy, local government, et cetera, than to whether what the license is that the particular bank has. Okay, so that's kind of one of the first things. Now, I mentioned previously, you have sort of a too big to fail in certain situations where you do have, for example, like the U.S. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, et cetera. These banks will never go down. Okay, will not happen. Why not? Because the politicians have their money there, and they have an unlimited ability to print new money to bail those guys out. And they've already demonstrated that they're willing to print hundreds of billions of dollars to bail them out. So the ownership structure might change. The shareholders could get hurt. Bondholders might get hurt. There's a variety of different people who could get hurt there. It's possible in a very extreme circumstance that they would have some sort of negative effect on large deposits. I think that's even unlikely because, again, are the politicians going to take that for themselves? Probably not. It seems really, really unlikely. So these institutions are safe for a different set of reasons because they're structurally significant and backed by a central bank versus these other little guys who are not backed by a central bank, or if there is a central bank, like if you're talking about.
Okay, I get the idea. It's just like now I'm concerned with which one to even use. Oh, shit. Jeez, fuck, dude. No offense, but come on. Yeah, I'm not really sure, dude. I feel like I've already made my choice anyways, but yeah, I mean, I do wonder about Mercury Bank versus Wise. Kind of curious about that. Oh, here. Which he did it in the fucking thumbnail too. Jackass. Come on, let's go. Oh, he did it right here. I thought it was here where he was misspelled. Okay,
Today
whatever.
we're going to compare both Mercury and Wise. Let's see how each one stacks up against the other in terms of banking and more. Mercury offers banking with startups in mind and is fully online. There is no local branch. However, everything you could possibly need from them can be done online or through the apps supported by various devices. Mercury is a tech company and not a bank. However, Mercury does offer phenomenal banking services through the help of their partners Chase Bank and Evolve Bank and Trust. In turn, those banks have a network of other regional banks, giving Mercury Bank users access to a very beneficial sweep network. It's because of this network that
What'd he
Mercury
say?
very beneficial sweep network. It's
Sweep
because bank
network?
users access to a very beneficial sweep network. It's because of this network that Mercury members have access to FDIC insurance of up to $5 million, which is higher than any other US traditional bank. On top of that, Mercury does not require a minimum balance or maintenance fees. Couple that with the fact that Mercury doesn't charge for ATM withdrawals. It also offers free domestic and international wire transfers in USD. Free ACH payments are included as well. You now have access to phenomenal checking and savings accounts for your business. You can set up individual cards for different members of the company and have them named and set their limits
Damn, that's
online.
fucking
Even
kinda
setting up the
cool.
account doesn't require you to go to a branch. The only real cons I can see to Mercury Bank is that you can't deposit physical cash. You will need to convert it into some sort of digital currency and then transfer it to your Mercury account. Also, the savings account earns 0% APY. However, Mercury does offer a treasury account for businesses with larger balances. So we've stated that Mercury is for startups. However, Wise shifts its focus more so to the transfer of money. Then handling those transfers with speed and transparency. Wise, however, is not the most affordable way to make international transfers. However, it is known to be one of the fastest and will still be cheaper than using a bank. So if your business needs to send and receive funds internationally, then you would gravitate to Wise. Wise at the time of this
why-
recording is able to send transfers to up to 160 countries as long as the recipient's bank account is in any of the supported currencies. Wise is incredibly fast, with most transfers only taking a few hours. The maximum waiting time is 5 days. However, this is a rarity and will depend on location and transfer
Yeah, they changed their branding so much. Holy shit.
method. Wise
Last time I fucked with Wise was probably like 4 years ago. Maybe, yeah, 4.
is, just like Mercury, sees you handling all these transfers either through an app or through your web browser. Both Wise and Mercury offer two-factor security options to protect your account from hackers, which is always a worry when primarily dealing with a business online. When it comes to the safety of your money, we mentioned how Mercury relies on its sweep networks to keep your funds secure through the large FDIC insurance it has at its disposal. Wise takes another route. Wise uses the term safeguard. So instead of lending your money and having it insured through the FDIC or FSCS, Wise, depending on your country and regulations, will have a percentage of your money converted to liquid assets, such as government bonds. The money they put into banks, they only put into reputable banks with strong liquidity. So even in times of market turmoil, your money
Their branding kind of got funky there. Shit is kind of confusing though. I'm telling you, with that light text on dark background and black dark text on light background. But I do like the overlap with those. Like, they did some crazy weird shit with some of that material science, man.
They only put
Look
into
at that fucking material. What the fuck is that? Some marble shit?
Wise takes another route. Wise uses the term safeguard.
Some type of like smart material.
So instead of lending your money and having it insured through the FDIC or FS,
Look, you can even see it like down here. That was a fucking smart move.
SCS,
That was a wise move.
wise-
Wise move.
depending on your country and regulations,
I remember when they rebranded like their name from TransferWise. It was like Kind of shocking, but I guess it was smart.
will have a percentage of your money converted to liquid assets, such as government bonds. The money they put into banks, they only put into
They should have that shit animated.
reputable banks with strong liquidity. So even in time,
Look at that. It's even in their wallets. Dude, I like these color choices kind of, but it's like kind of schizophrenic here. It's a little bit like, what the fuck is going on? It's like party time right now.
times of market turmoil, your money is safe. So that was a comparison between Mercury and
Man, dude, these icons are suffering, man. These are poor as fuck icons. Look at that shit.
Wise. The focus is very different with these two tech companies. Depending on what the goal is for your money, one of these options will definitely serve you well.
Fuck it, I'm all about Mercury. I don't need to fuck around with Wise. Duh. Done, man. Just sign up right now. I'll just get my name in there. I don't know if I could do anything. Like, I don't know what I have to give right now. I want to open an account. Let's go, baby. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's like, oh man, that's some smart material shit right there. Look at that. Look at that liquid. Oh, you even got that shit in the background too. Very subtle. I like that. I like that. Shit. Can you believe that there's people that like are paid for this shit? Brand people. It's good to like see like websites like this. I like their logo too. It's like very Celtic naughty. Very there's definitely hyperdimensional symbolic aspects to it. They're definitely ancient. Good shit here, man. Yeah, their branding is on point. I do like the very muted colors and it's just like very elegant. I mean, it's a little complicated around here, but I don't know if I would have. I like their card. I'm down with their card. Do they have a Visa card or is it just MasterCard? What the fuck is going on here? Not really sure what's up. Got some motion design goodness there. Yeah, they hired some good people to deal with this shit. Shit's fun. And I like how it's just like, it's pretty trad, but inventor of the safe. Right. Oh, look, they got that not style going on. Kind of like drawing on that influence. I just want to go to see the big knot image. Got some of that speckle texture. Yeah, they're working with some. They better just stay on that shit though. Like when you're this is probably the word. Oh, it's interactable, but this is probably the shittiest looking part of the whole damn thing. But it was a cool kind of interface. I don't like the transition. I like that shit though. MasterCard? Dude, what's up with that? Do I get that on my card? Look at that gloss, man. That's like digital hyper metal. Did I see some shitty icons? There's some boring ass icons. Does not fit in. They just look like text. Honestly, they could work on that for sure. I love it. I love most of it. I love how everything is like gritified. It's like really very nice. This is probably one of the best brand identities I've seen. It's just so fucking solid. They don't fuck around. I like the vibe change. I feel like I just entered a new room in a club. This is kind of fucking harsh right here. Look at that shit. Look, they went into the drop shadow overdrive mode. Oh, it's like time to switch it up, bitch. Well, what the fuck happened? They fucked it up a little bit there. Good shit, bitch. Did I open an account or what? What the fuck happened? Oh, I didn't even go because I was mesmerized by the liquid acid button. Start application. This is where I'm gonna fail, isn't it? Company name. It's not even a real company. Can I still sign up? Like there should be definitely a chatbot here. Wait, we'll use this to personalize your bill forwarding email address. I don't even know what a bill forwarding email address is. The fuck is this? What is a Mercury call sign? Just give me an example. I can just make one up. See, this is the way you gotta work. You just like switching from one thing to another. The Mercury call sign reference. No. No, in terms of the Mercury startup bank service. Jesus Christ. It's essentially a username. Call sign. I mean, that's source. What do you think, man? Source, of course. None of the above. I bet you that gets me in the door, baby. My company has business. My company has a DBA. I don't even have a company. I don't have this. Need a median. That's a good place to put that. Stripe, Atlas. Wait, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's like you can do that right now. Let's just start. Okay, so you need one, right? It's kind of cool that they, help you out here. Look at that. All right, so now I know where to go when I need that. So I'm just gonna come back at sometime. I'll just save this in my source. But that was fun. It was fun too. Like I think I'm gonna move away from the biz side and go back to the app side. But actually, I'm burnt out right now, so I'm probably not gonna do that. Oh, here's the elements side. Where is my Notion? There you go. This shit is so much fun. I need to know if to use Stripe elements. Any other Stripe documentation that I should be aware of to implement the ability to receive payments from customers? I'm like burnt out. Yeah, I need to watch something. So fucking burnt out. Yeah, dude, who has time for dates, man? I'm telling you. Like, I can't wait to go on some dates. Holy shit, I can't wait to go on some dates. Once I'm better financially, holy fuck. I'm telling you, when your back is against the wall, you don't have a fucking choice. You gotta act. You gotta fight back. Stripe elements. Oh, great. Look at this. Stripe.js. Okay. Payment intents API. Yo, holy fuck, dude. Oh, wow. Look at all this good shit, man. Security best practices. You know, I'm almost like, am I going crazy here? Like, maybe I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm not going to send all these. I think I'm just going to chill with the, wait a second. And first of all, like, what's up with these URLs? Like, did you see it gave the wrong URL here. Like, what the fuck is up with that? Yeah, I mean, you know, it should just do it by itself. Like, let's face it. Like, I'm not gonna go crazy here with this. Okay. Next time I hit this, I'm gonna try to. I mean, there's enough here to get a basic website created, and I have like the initial design of, you know, any like marketing site. I just have to like work on kind of like boxes. Like, I know I should be using a fucking grid system, and actually, speaking of which, I do want to know if oh god, dude. See, like, this is something that I've become very aware of recently. Like, you gotta build with the fundamentals. There's no, oh shit. Oh, that's fucked. Grid utilities can be used for grid layout. Spacing uses Tailwind CSS spacing utilities. Okay. There have been discussions about the spacing inconsistencies between components. Oh shit, no kidding. Different spacing between input. Like, I mean, first world problems, but yeah, something to think about. custom implementations and so where's Tailwind's theming, utility classes, spacing. This is just stuff I don't even want to think about, you know. This is just like, I'm not gonna fucking think about it. And also I'm planning on probably just creating I'm going to try to do a lot of stuff with lo-fi mockups, like just drawing in Procreate and then like giving it to Claude to see if, or rather Aider, to see if it can like process that and build out that layout as I wanted, you know? So we'll see.